Hey everybody, this is Martin John, and we are talking all about the Tao Te Ching. What is the Tao Te Ching, and why is it so important? And why am I coming on 5 days a week and talking about the Tao of the day? Well, Tao, the Tao Te Ching was written in 600 BCE, so it is considered an ancient text. And, the great thing is we have to recognize that, we weren't writing for a very long period of time when the Tao was written. I mean, relatively so. And so for it to have been written, it was written early in our ability to write, and it was written so far back that it was during a time when we were still, where we still had information that you and I have cognitively like lost. And it's important to understand where we come from, to understand who we are. And when we understand who we are, then we can understand like where we're going and why we're headed there, and all of these wonderful things. And so the Tao is probably more important now than ever, because the Tao talks about the yin life, right? The life of yin, the life of receiving, the life of stillness, the life of yielding. And we are coming out of a time of yang, a time of action, a time of penetration, a time of doing, right? We we knew things differently, and Tao expresses and says pretty plainly that, hey, you have stillness within you. Embrace that. Learn about that. Try and get yourself to a place where you can be still, and that will all, and then everything will fall into place. We talk a lot in Tao about yin and yang is there to express the importance of yin and balance. And you can't experience yin without yang, and you can't experience yang without yin. And so this is masculine and feminine, if you want to talk about it that way. If you want to talk about it as, yielding and penetrating, if you want to talk it about yin and yang, however you want to talk about it, it's really an important topic right now as we move out of a yang age and into another age of yin. Now, if we think back, I want you to recognize that yang is language, right? Not language as speaking, but yang is written language, and yang is history. So history starts us off in yang. And so when we look back, we can look back to all of the things that the world is, and we can recognize that it is all yang. Yang must be important. Masculine must be important. And it is, but it is only important to exposing yin, to expose the feminine, to expose the importance of the feminine within all things. And so when we can embrace all of the structural things we have in the world, we do that in a way that is we embrace all of the yielding aspects. We embrace the space, we embrace emptiness, and we are able to do that with logic, with structure, with all of the masculine stuff in the world. And so that's why Tao is so important today, because it is, and it has remained, to the best of my knowledge, it has remained true to its feminine source. And I think all religions really aspired to do this, but what ended up happening was it embraced over the millennia, it's embraced the masculine, and it's embraced the weakness of masculine form, the weakness of yang without yin. There is weakness of yin without yang as well, but that is a very different sort of experience than what we're experiencing, and so we don't want to We don't want to focus too much on that. We want to be able to be here now. We want to be present in this moment as it is. And that's a very uh, yin thing to be present in this moment as we believe it will be, as we believe it is related to the past. That is yang, and that is structural, right? We have a structure of where we want to go. We have a structure of where we're coming from. We understand those things, and when we encase this moment in that, right? We encase this moment in understanding of what was and what we believe will be. So, what I invite you to do, if you want to celebrate some yin energy, if you want to celebrate Tao with me, is pick a number between 1 and 81, and then I will read to you the Tao that is in line with that number. So you pick a number between 1 and 81, and I will read to you the Tao. We have both Samantha and then Lois on the line, and I think they both came on very close to one another. So we're going to look at Samantha.
Hello.
Samantha, how are you,
Oh
dear?
my gosh. I am so phenomenally great. it's
Oh my
it's
God.
kind of
Tell me,
amazing.
what is going on that you are so phenomenally great?
Uh in the most unbelievable circumstances that like anyone could have ever imagined. The person that I have looked up to and idolized, and was one of the reasons I chose to pursue a career in electronica. A gentleman by the name of Simon Johns. He was part of a band called Stereolab.
Yeah?
Um, he is remixing my band's first track, and he's collabing on a song with us, and it just kind of feels like one of those full circle moments, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not even entirely sure, like I'm still on planet Earth.
Oh, that's
It's-
so wonderful. I'm
Thank you.
so glad that that's going on. I know we talked not long ago when
Yeah,
just as that was kind of formulating. So I'm glad that
yeah,
that's all coming
yeah.
together.
I mean, as of today, we're allowed to like shout it from the mountaintops. Like it's all been finalized, and we're all doing an interview together next Wednesday. It's just amazing.
And where's the interview going to be?
On Fireside,
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Fireside is,
and
yeah, I
he's
haven't I
such a
haven't explored it too much, but I do have it, and I've been
I
up.
I haven't really explored it at all, so I'm a little bit nervous because I'm not super great with new technology. I'm kind of a squirrel, but um I'll make the best of it.
Yeah,
And
it'll
but
be great.
he's such a gentleman and a great guy. He lives in Istanbul, right? And we're doing the interview at 9, and I said, "Listen, we can accommodate you and do it much earlier so you're not up so late." And he said, "No, we're going to work around y'all's schedule." So he's going to be up at 4 in the morning to do this with us.
Oh, well,
It's
that's wonderful.
I mean, it's little things like that. Like he believes in the project and the music, and Johnny and I's path forward and what we're trying to achieve. And I just never imagined that someone that I have aspired to look up to, and learn from, albeit from a distance,
Mm-hmm.
would ever do that,
I am that is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Let's see what the Tao has for you today. And
Yes,
in relation to all of this, I'm sure it'll speak volumes.
I am going to choose 40 because I turn 40 next week.
40,
Mhm.
40. I don't remember 40. Okay, so 40 is the movement of Tao. And you turn 40 next week. What's your
Mhm.
birthday?
It's November 10th.
November 10th. I'm writing that down because, of course, I am. Um, the movement of Tao is the title of 40. Tao is always returning. It is also always yielding. In the manifestation, all things are born into existence, yet surrender, and are renewed every moment within Tao.
I mean, if that doesn't speak to exactly what's going on, I literally have a tear in my eye right now.
Mm.
um, my life recently has been these moments of crazy synchronicity, and it feels like from the moment I met Johnny and coming on this app uh and meeting my wisdom family and that growing journey, it's just all amounted to this.
Mhm. Cycles are so important.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. And I experienced that, and I gave myself the grace to go through those cycles, and I'm on a much better path now, than I was certainly when I first got here. And even that to me is remarkable in its own right.
It's interesting as I read this with you specifically, because I know you've gone through, since we've met, almost a year ago, maybe. I don't know, maybe a
Yeah,
little less.
almost, yeah.
I know you've gone through a couple cycles.
Mhm.
Tao is always returning. Like this is, this is interesting as we're going into this very excited moment in your life. Like I want, like this piece is also speaking of like this too shall pass.
Well, and even my band's name, Johnny and I chose Cadence and the Coda. Cadence because Johnny is a DJ,
Hmm.
and then Coda, as I'm sure you know, means an end to a movement of music. And this
Hmm.
project represented both a beginning and an end for
Yeah.
both of us, and that's why we chose that moniker for it.
Cadence is interesting as well because it is rhythmic,
Hmm.
cyclical,
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely,
And so,
absolutely.
Tao is always returning. It is also always yielding.
Hmm.
These are two things, like allowance, like allowing this, but continuing to move towards that place where you were in a new way.
Absolutely. As soon as I stopped fighting those cycles, things got so much better. And I found
Well, I
myself,
wanna, I wanna,
I
I wanna
was,
pause, just because we say better, and I just want to say, just maybe it's not even about better. Maybe it's just about easier. Maybe it's just about
no, I
like
mean, it's
more.
profoundly better. Like I was a
Okay,
shell of a human being, and now I have that light again. Like I feel like I have that human spark
okay,
once again. But I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I just think in this instance, better is,
better.
yeah,
Yeah,
profoundly,
yeah,
profoundly better.
yeah. When it's interesting also, and I think the thing that I would like is just an understanding of what better means.
Um, Better means that I wake up every day with the understanding that I've chosen to progress, that I'm choosing to greet the dawn, um, and receive the messages that I'm meant to receive in the moment, and
Mm-hmm.
just be present.
Mm. Like, as that's beautiful as we continue to read this very short number 40. In the manifestation, all things are born into existence, yet surrender and are renewed every moment within Tao. And this is like your definition of better.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is. And even this little piece, this little bit of synchronicity. That's what I'm speaking about. It's been these little and also gigantic moments of synchronicity, um, and it happened when I allowed myself to be more fluid and go through those cycles and those stages and feel them and then let them go.
Yeah.
You know.
Like that's that like yielding to things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's interesting, this first line, Tao is always returning, it is also always yielding. It's interesting, like, when you want to return to something, you might think that you need a plan to get there. But what really is happening is that you're also always yielding, meaning that you're yielding to this moment. You're yielding, you're surrendering.
Yes.
You're
Yes. I
surrendering
say
to
it
this.
like I don't know how I want it to end. I just know how I wanted it to begin. You know.
Hmm.
Um and I stand by that.
Yeah. And as the desire to begin anything, like in the manifestation, all things are born into existence, yet surrender
Mhm.
and are renewed every moment. So like you know how you want it to begin, and you surrender to how it is going, and it begins again
Yeah,
tomorrow. And it begins
absolutely.
again. And it's like in your mind it began somewhere, but every day it's beginning again in a new place, in a new way.
And it's just brighter. And I don't
Yes.
know how else to describe it, you know? And even on days that are not particularly great, I'm still I possess the ability to greet the dawn with a smile and choose to be better than I was the day before, you know? And
And
I'm
it's funny you should mention that. This morning I was thinking about the idea of the cumulative.
mhm,
Like even if today it appears or it feels like I'm not as good as it was yesterday, it's still contributing to my being better in the long.
absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and that means giving yourself the grace to fall and get back up again. Um
Mm-hmm.
that's being better than you were the day before because maybe you didn't have the ability to get up. Maybe you just stayed in bed and
Or maybe you had a great day yesterday and today's shit, and
right.
that's okay too. That's still
Yes.
cumulative towards the benefit of you in the long run.
Right. Absolutely.
There's nothing
Um
wrong with having a shit day
No, no. And
or a
it's
month.
important to validate that you feel shitty, you
Yeah.
know, but it's also important to understand that it doesn't have to define you. And that was another lesson that I learned. You know, I don't have to be defined by anything that I don't want to be defined by, you know?
Right. And once again, this very short verse, in the manifestation, all things are born into existence. Like that judgment is born into existence,
Hmm.
yet surrender and are renewed every moment. So if you can surrender that judgment, if you can surrender that happiness, if you can surrender that excitement, if you can surrender and be renewed every moment, then you will yield to what is being expressed, and you'll be able to return to that which you are returning.
Oh, are you there? Oh, I
Yeah,
lost
I'm
you for a
here.
second. I apologize.
No. Like I ended with returning. I
Okay.
ended with returning. Like you are returning to that which you are
Oh,
returning.
okay.
That
Okay.
that
Sorry.
that which you are. Yeah.
Yeah, I it just feels really
I'm
good.
glad. I'm so glad. It's good. And as we
Thank
look at
you.
this project, this project is like was born into existence, and in order for it to happen, there is surrendering that has to happen.
Absolutely, absolutely, and, you know, when I met Johnny, one of the first things we talked about was I didn't want this album to be a tomb to our trauma. I really wanted to push past that and dig deep and write about and create something bigger than that, and I feel like we've achieved that in spades, and that's a really wonderful feeling as well to know that I have in my power the ability to choose something else.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important. It's important to do that. Like cuz that's not you playing the same role. It's you surrendering yourself to something new, to something in
Absolutely.
front of you.
And it's exciting and it's super scary.
Yeah.
It's everything, but uh it's also beautiful and it's the ebb and the flow.
Yeah, everything surrenders and is renewed every moment. And that's the thing, like, I try and remember that every day I'm waking up a new person.
Mhm.
And it's not the person who woke up yesterday. that is here any longer. It's me, and I am who I am at this moment. And, as it says in the manifestation, all things are born into existence. Every thought, every person, every rock, everything is born into existence, yet surrender and are renewed every moment. And if you can renew yourself, if you can allow yourself to recognize that you are being renewed, then you can allow and yield to what this moment has, because you will be renewed through it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel like that speaks to just allowing yourself to being open to receiving, the those motions, I guess is a good word for it. You know, the lilt and the valleys and the ups and the downs. But being present for it, you know?
Be present for this moment, whatever it holds,
Yep.
and you will be renewed through it as you surrender to it.
That's gorgeous. Well, okay, I love you. Thank you
Love
so
you too.
much.
Thank you. Oh, it's always great to hang out with my buddies in my mornings. That was Samantha with number 40, and we're gonna talk to Lois. How you doing, Lois? Is it like 6 a.m. where you're at? You're muted. We'll give you a moment. Did you get a call as soon as you came on? And to hang out for a little longer. Nope, there you are.
Okay, it said "uh-oh" to me, so I
It said
signed out of the
uh-oh,
whole
and then you
app.
had to. Oh,
Yes, but it
okay.
came. I came right back in the room. I'm like, "Whoa, dude, this is weird."
Yeah,
Anyway,
that is weird. Like, you were out of the app, but still in my queue. So
that was weird. That was weird. Okay.
so
Anyway,
when
how
do you
you
when do
doing?
you head up to Colorado?
I'm here. She got your hug last night about
Oh my
11:30
God.
p.m.
You drive up that way?
No, I didn't drive. I took a plane.
Okay, okay. Well, good on you.
So
Wait, so send hello, everybody in the Cecilia home. I just wanted to. That's great. How long are you guys hanging out? Did I lose you?
today.
Oh no, your internet is a little
So
shaky.
I just saw her jogging down the mountain when I after I finished all
Oh,
my little toiletries and all that junk. But
all
yeah,
right.
so I want to go up the hill because after she ran down the hill, then I saw other people going up the hill, and then I saw a group. It looked like antelope or some type of
Yeah.
deer or something. So I know I want to go now because I love deer.
Oh, that's beautiful. Like I love and the nature out there's got to be beautiful. They call it big sky country.
Oh, that's what it's called, really? See, I
I
don't know.
think
I've only
so.
been here once before, and when I was here once before, I where my daughter, when Sharente and my other daughter were working out here, I would go out on the front porch, and the deer would literally walk up to me. A little doe did, and the mom and daddy was standing right by, and she looked back. The doe looked back and started walking toward me, and and, and it got almost as close as arm length. And my daughter
Oh
got
wow.
scared and she says, "Mama, change your energy." So I'm looking forward to going up the hill right now. I'm just chilling, trying to doing my morning routines. And I saw you on and I saw Rodney on, and I was like, hey, let me get a couple conversations in while I get myself together.
Yeah. So let's find a number to launch you on your in your little walk today.
Give me one. And don't give me one that you because you know what it is. Just give me one. Just arbitrarily.
Okay. 72.
Okay.
With nothing to teach, the knowledgeable have lost their sense of awe, seek to be entertained. Losing themselves in that process, they turn to the more knowledgeable authorities. Do not make light of what is important to people, and they will respect you. Therefore, the master, although she knows herself, she is not arrogant. She loves herself as she is, but she also loves others as they are. She has nothing to teach, and the knowledgeable will have nothing to learn.
I like that one. I
Me
like
too.
that one. Because I've moved out of a role of teacher. Now I just talk about me. And I know that
Yeah.
sounds crazy. That's like that sounds selfish. No, the thing
No.
is that I know that everybody's exactly where they're supposed to be at any given point in time. I don't care what they're going through, and people are like, "Well, I'm supposed to be in there going through this abuse." Well, that's part of the karmic, reaction to
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Okay, now I can be there and I can support you while you're going through it. I can give you ways to get out, but I'm not there to teach you about abuse or teach you, why they doing what they doing and all that. Because all those questions only prolong the vibration of the shit. Okay, the thing is, I learned I had to just fucking get out.
Yeah.
you know so yeah, so I stopped teaching a long time ago, and I just talk to people from where they are and from where I am. And the thing is, where I am has been where they are, so I can relate to wherever you are, whether you at
Well,
whatever.
that's the
I don't
thing.
even judge
Like,
growth.
you know,
I didn't even know I had
you and
grown.
I, you and
Go
I
ahead.
think about this in the same way. Like I always think about like I meet people where I am because
Mm-hmm.
I love them and respect them and
Yes.
know that like I don't expect them to be any other way than they are. I don't want them to be me. I don't want them to aspire to be
Yes.
me. I just want them to be who they are. And when I look at this, the
Mm-hmm.
knowledgeable have lost their sense of awe and seek to be entertained. They seek to be entertained by their own knowledge. They seek to be entertained by, like, oh, look at how special I am. Losing themselves in that process, losing themselves in the process of being so self indulgent and self affirming. They
Right.
turn to more knowledgeable authorities, meaning, like, look, I'm so smart. Let me go learn from people that are smarter, and
And so I
so
can
they
get
continue.
validated in my brilliance. No,
Right.
I don't even need that anymore. It was a
Right.
time when I thought that's what it was about, because I was from the academia. Okay.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
when you listen to me talk on this app, you're like, where that girl education is? She talks so ghetto and vulgar. But the thing is that that's part of me too.
Yep. You
And
and me both.
I embrace it all. I embrace it all, and I'm not trying to impress. I'm not trying to do anything. I like This is what I like. I like leading with my heart and leading with love. And if leading with love builds you up, it builds you up. If it doesn't build you up, it doesn't build you up. If you vibe, you vibe. If you don't, you don't. But my thing is, as long as I lead with love for me, everybody else benefits. Everybody else
Yeah.
benefits. Because I can remember the Lois that would use that nasty mouth, and I'd cuss you out in a minute if you cross me. Okay.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
now it's like, no, I don't even cross me all you want to. That tells me, if I'm triggered, that tells me, oh, I get to heal again. You know?
Yeah.
I get to heal again. This is a healing sign. I welcome triggers. I got triggered
Me.
last night when I was getting the rental car. They said, let's go snow. And I was like, oh, I don't want a car. Let me call the Uber. And then I did realize, wait a minute, what was that reaction? What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
It was a
What was
fear
that?
that I had of driving in the snow. Okay. Because they said it was supposed
Mm.
to rain. But then when I get here, they said, no, it's going to snow. And I
Hmm.
had bad experiences driving in the snow in Missouri. And I used to call it misery. But in Missouri, I had bad experiences. So I get to face another fear. So I paid extra for a four-wheel drive so that I can face that freaking fear, because it
Nice.
came up and I started laughing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm scared. What the fuck? So to me, and it triggered because the lady looked at me and said, what's wrong? And I said, you just don't know.
That's right.
But I embraced the fear. I embraced whatever. And, she was like, now you're different. You're a different person. I said, yeah, I'm different. I said, I got this though. I said, go ahead and charge me the extra money. Let me get the right car, because I want to drive in the snow. Now,
That's right.
because I want to drive in the snow, man, there probably won't even fucking snow.
That's right. That's right. You know, and it's interesting as I hear you talking about this, and I look at this next line, and this next line always it always makes sense after I talk about it. But like
Mhm.
as like I'm always thinking I might want to change it, but I think it's really poignant. Do not make light of what is important to people, and they will respect you. You know, if you were in that position of like getting triggered and having, and if you were like, we look at this about the knowledgeable having lost their sense of awe, you get triggered and you embrace that. That's something knowledgeable people would like try and think themselves out of, like, oh, I'm afraid of driving in the snow, so I'm not going to do it, you know. But
Right.
you see the trigger and you address it. And either way, do not make light of what is important to people. What was important to you is to face your trigger. If somebody were to make light of that, you would not respect them. You would lose their respect. You would lose respect for that person because you'd be like, wait a minute, like this is me doing my shit. Like I need to do my shit and it doesn't matter what you think.
Well,
But if
they laughed at me, but I was like, shit. I said, look, this is just how it is. I don't care, you know. And
that's
then they was
right.
like, well, you could do it. And I'm like, I know I can do it. I said, but that's funny that all of a sudden I'm thinking I ain't got no fear, and then this
Yeah.
stuff pops up out of nowhere. But like I said, I'm on a journey to conquer all fear because where fear is, there isn't love. Love,
Mm-hmm.
perfect love
That's
can't
right.
have its way if I'm in fear. So I've asked to let me face them, and hey, this is another one of them things. Just like
Yeah.
going into the
And
forest
they're all
alone, and
they're
yeah,
hiding out all places in our lives, you
yeah,
know,
little
and they're
cubby
important.
holes.
They're important to us. Whether that thing that's important, do not make light of what is important to people and they will respect you. Whether what's important is me facing my fears, or what's important is me having a lot of money, or what's important is whatever is important. What's important to me might be to go axe throwing and do, you know, zip lining, or do or jump out of a
I
plane.
did that
But
already because I was scared of that stuff too.
you know, and it's important to not make light of that, and
Yeah.
then you'll respect and you'll be respected. Therefore the master, and this is, you know, where we're headed,
Hmm.
although she knows herself, she is not arrogant. She loves herself as she is, but she also loves others as they are. And that's our goal. You know, when we can love ourselves as we are, we decide we are predetermining ourselves to love others as they are. But when we don't love ourselves as we are, we go out and we say we need to change other people.
Right. Oh no, we got to make them believe exactly what we believe because
Mhm.
what we believe is the truth for everybody.
Right,
And I
because
think
I
that's
think
the
it's true.
biggest crock of shit.
Yep,
Because what is true for me is not may not supposed to be true for you because I got different DNA.
that's right.
I got different food allergies. I got different intolerances. I have different fears that some I don't even freaking know. Because like right now, I've already faced all the ones I know, but shit. I,
Yeah.
so every you accept people as who they are. You be you 100% of you. And the thing is, you won't stand in judgment. When you stand in judgment, comparing, and that's like the first part of this thing that you just said. When you're
Yeah, the
standing in
knowledgeable,
judgment,
having lost their
and
sense of awe, seek to be
yeah,
unentertained, losing themselves in that process, they turn to the more knowledgeable. And then there's just the cyclical
yes,
learning of the same thing. What's right, what we say is right.
right. That's right. That. So I like this. Well, thank you for
And
picking
this
it.
one wraps up. There's one more line that says, and this is, I think, really beautiful. She has nothing to teach, and the knowledgeable will have nothing to learn.
That's right. Because the thing is, it's a shared wisdom. Everybody has the wisdom that we all have. It's inside and locked inside of them, and it comes out when the person is ready. Like the student will appear when the teacher. Well, the student.
Yeah. The
Well, when
teacher
the
will
student is
appear when
ready,
the
the
student
teacher
is
will
ready.
appear. Also, when the teacher is ready, the student will appear. Okay,
Yes.
they're a teacher, so it's a matter of we're all co-creators in this process, and if we know that we're co-creators in this process, and we don't stand alone, we know that everybody got something to contribute to are learning and are transversing this world in a way in which we can optimize our skills and abilities. And if we recognize that, everybody is our fucking friend. I don't care how mean they are, how cruel or whatever.
Hmm.
I learned from the most valuable lessons I learned was from some of the most meanest persons are,
Yeah.
and that's you. And I don't like labels, but if people understand mean, so I'm gonna say
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
some of the meanest persons, some of my most horrifying experiences have been the ones I've learned the most from. And what I mostly learned from them is that, fuck, I'm more amazing than I thought I was. I'm more,
I'm learning that all the time.
oh my
Not
God.
only about me, but about you.
Yeah, oh, I know that. I know it's about, we are all more amazing than we know. Okay, what
Yes.
I've done in my life, anybody can do. But the thing is, you gotta want to do it, and then you gotta go for it. You can't just stop. There's still things that I want to do that I'm stopping myself from doing. But in time, I'm not gonna rush myself. I'm gonna treat myself like a baby. If the baby ain't ready to run, I'm not gonna say, "Baby, run! Now you know how to walk. Run, 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 run." I'm gonna say, "No, no, no.
Right.
Walk as long as you need to. Be gentle with yourself and encourage yourself. And when you're ready to run, we gonna run."
That's right.
Okay. But thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you.
Oh, always, sweetheart. Always.
All
Love
right.
you. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy those deer and Cece and everything that you got in front of you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Bye
Love
bye.
you. Bye bye. So that was beautiful. You know, it's such a great, the Tao is such, I'm looking at this title of number 62, Everybody's Treasure. And Tao is everybody's treasure. And I'm going to read this one and see if I can explore it a little bit on my own. Tao benefits all things, a treasure for those who know, an opportunity for those who don't. To witness one act or speak to gain position, know that they are under the influence of manifestation. Be like Tao and do not abandon them, for knowing Tao is learned by example. Therefore, when a new leader takes office, don't offer words, gifts, or actions. Offer instead to teach them Tao. Why is Tao so universally loved? Because if you acknowledge it or not, Tao is your treasure, always in harmony, every mistake forgiven. So, what a really beautiful verse. I don't know why I decided to look at this verse, but I looked at the title and it just kind of popped out at me. Number 62, Everybody's Treasure. I'm talking to Samantha today, and I was talking to Lois, and we were talking a lot about this idea of being in this moment and allowing this moment to be what it is. Um, but in order to do that, in order to kind of be in this moment, you have to be okay with who you are. Um, it's interesting as this one starts. Tao benefits all things. Tao benefits all things. So if you get cancer, or if you have an experience that is not what you would determine beneficial, still Tao benefits all things, and Tao is all things that are happening. And so we have to be able to look at that. It's like, what is this benefit? It's a treasure for those who know and an opportunity for those who don't. I knew Tao when I got diagnosed with MS, and although it was difficult for a couple hours, I really kind of embraced it, and we were okay. And I began my life from that point. And but if it couldn't be seen as a treasure, it would be an opportunity for somebody to embrace their MS if they could not previously. And that's a big deal, right? So it's a treasure to those who know and an opportunity to those who don't. Whether or not you choose to accept that opportunity, well, that's on you. But Tao is this treasure that benefits all things. It benefits all things, a treasure or an opportunity. Now, how are you going to see this moment, whatever it is? To witness one act or speak to gain position, so to manipulate in some way, know that they're under the influence of manifestation. This is like if you see somebody that does not take their circumstance as an opportunity or a treasure, and they are trying to gain influence on other people, well, know that they're under the influence of manifestation. But you can be like Tao and don't abandon them. Now, not abandoning them doesn't mean being a victim to them, doesn't mean being a slave to them or anything like that. We do have someone in the queue, so I'm going to go ahead, and I can always return to 62. So we're going to see what Faroz, or is it Faraz? I don't know that we've spoken to before. So let's see what we have here. Faraz, is that right?
Feroz.
Faroz, nice to meet you. How are you?
Absolutely nice to meet you. I'm doing very well.
I'm very glad. So, this is, I believe this is the first time we've spoken, but you sound familiar. Do you have a different, have we spoken?
No, we have not spoken, and
Okay, well,
I have only one account, so I'm
okay, yeah, because sometimes people have more than one account. You never know. I don't know.
not. That's right.
So I'm pleasure to meet you.
Yes, same over here, Martin.
Wonderful. So this is Tao of the Day, and are you familiar with Tao of the Day?
I well, the only thing I know is I think Tao means some sort of a order of things in the universe. That's all what I know of.
Yeah, so the Tao of the Day references the Tao Te Ching, which is an ancient text written about 600 BCE. It's a Chinese text written around the same time that scholars believe the Old Testament was written. So it consists of 81 short chapters or verses of, and I look at it as like the canon of reason, or the canon of how one can live a reasonable life. And what we look at in terms of like living a reasonable life, how I see it, is understanding that like how I live and what I do should not depend on other people. My actions, like my life isn't dependent. It isn't independent. It is, I am an individual undivided from all things, but like you have the freedom to be you and I have the freedom to be me. And if I allow you to disrupt my life, then that's not reasonable. That's not a reasonable request.
Yeah, yeah, and you know the sentence that compelled me to join you as a guest was the sentence that you made is that you have accepted your MS. Did I hear you correctly?
Yeah, years ago, but yeah.
Yes. So one of the things that, and I'm coming back to the sentence you just made, the declaration you made, or the statement you made. I think what I hear, and at least this is part of my philosophy of life, you're right in the sense that living my life is not necessarily dependent on how others react, but I also believe that I don't live in a vacuum. I live with other fellow human beings, and no matter what is happening with other human beings, I have a choice in choosing how I live my life. So we cannot live, I mean, we have to deal with the fact that we live in a community with other human beings.
Yeah. Okay. No, I mean and that is part of the, that's yeah, that's definitely part
Yeah,
of
right.
the equation. Yeah.
That, that's right. So for me, there's always noises, conversation, statements, beliefs, all this is happening around me constantly, whether it is my immediate family or with my work, my clients. If I'm in a grocery store, that is always constantly happening. But then I think the power of what you're saying is I have a choice to identify those conversations, those noises as not me, and also to be present to how automatically my body and my mind react to those conversations, and the ability to set that aside and choose my own pathway and my own voice.
Interesting. So, what I ask my guests is to pick a number between 1 and 81, and I bet we'll find a little direction here.
Sure. Good. I have a number.
Go ahead.
So I have to pick. Oh, so I pick a number. So 49.
49. Okay, we're going to go look at number 49. We're going to see
Sure.
how this all relates together.
That
49 is called illusion of separateness. And I think this is really beautiful because even though you have interactions with other people, the way that you experience those are always going to be you. So let's go ahead and read number 49, illusion of separateness. The master has freed herself of separateness. She opens herself to receive from all beings. When she encounters sincerity, she responds in kind. In the face of duplicity, her sincerity remains. When she encounters goodness, she responds in kind. In the face of evil, her goodness remains. Why should she change for the manifestation? She knows the manifestation is an illusion of separateness. Beyond that, there is only one.
yeah.
Thoughts?
That's so again. It's uncanny
No, no,
in
no.
what
It is,
49.
it is, it is very, very like this is how the world works, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
S-
we,
s-
and it's real important for us to recognize
yeah.
that this is the power of us as like undivided individuals, right? Together.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things I hear, first of all, I'm hearing all this for the first time.
Yes, that's fine.
So one of the things, if you look at the first phase of the
The
number
verse.
49, the
Yeah.
verse 49
The master has
is,
freed herself
yeah,
from separateness. She opens herself to receive from all beings.
yeah. So we, you, me, the 30 people who are listening, and other people who may listen to this conversation, and the 7 billion people on this world, there is something common. So we are called human beings. So the connectedness is the being part. So no matter what it is, where we are born, what kind of conditional environment in which we are born, lived in, experienced, created our life, the connectedness, the common thread is the being part. So the
And
your
that and
being,
that and that goes beyond humans as well.
that's right. But the being part is the common element. And when the illusion is that I live my life, I'm in this small room in Columbus, Ohio, and that gives me a particular illusion. So when I want to gather clients, when I want to make connection, I have the illusion that somehow I have to open my mouth, go out, go talk to other human beings. That's one way to live inside that illusion. Another opportunity that the verse 49 is providing us is that as human beings, the being is already connected. So, sitting in my room in Columbus, Ohio, I can relate to and bring in and invite that truth that I am connected in terms of the being with the 7 billion people, and that gives me a different quality of living today.
Yeah, open yourself to receive, like, and so anytime you interact in the world or even in your small room, because you don't have to leave your room to be affected by the world, you receive.
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
receive from all things.
That's right.
And I think when
But
we move into the
mhm.
next lines, we see that, right? When she encounters sincerity, she responds in kind. In the face of duplicity, her sincerity remains. When she encounters goodness, she responds in kind. In the face of evil, her goodness remains.
Yeah, so that is the test for each one of us today to actually go into the world, or you're already in the world, and whatever it is, whether you're with your kids or whether with your colleagues or whatever it is that you're clear on who you are. And especially I live in America. I have no idea where you are, Martin. So, do you go by Martin John or Martin?
No, either way, I'm easy.
And where are you located, Martin?
I'm currently in Virginia, but I'm usually just around Chicago.
Okay, very good. So, so as we go over day, if we are clear who we are in our mind and whatever our life purpose is, that has any impact on how the external forces react to you. And you have the power and choice at any given moment to be that. So, as I go about, one of the important thing for me is being a space of love and being a space of creativity. And I will take from this conversation and have that be as a mindful, intended outcome to live today inside of that.
Yeah, and live today as you, not the identity that you believe you are. Because if you live as the identity, then you are not, then you believe in the separateness, right? It is that identity of you as being separate, of you as being whatever it is you are, a father, a brother, a coach, a successful entrepreneur, whatever it is you believe yourself to be. It's like, that's not who you are. You are you are indelibly connected to everything. And and no matter what you encounter in the world, you are still that. So no matter when you encounter duplicity or evil or anything, you are still you. And then this last section really kind of brings us together with this idea of like, why should she change for the manifestation? Like you were saying earlier, like, there is a community. And if you are true to your deep self, to that love, if we want to call it that, like that love self that is not separate, why should you change for the manifestation? Like people, when they're connected to their identities, change for the manifestation all the time because they are invested in that identity. She knows the manifestation is an illusion of separateness. Beyond that, there is only one. And that's you. That's me, right? Like we're connected and we're able to be connected in a very, like we can even say almost physical way. Cause like I can feel you. Like there's subtle energy that connects everything.
Yeah, and the the thing that I do want to point to, I think I might be, yeah, it's the language. So you said we are connected. So you are creating that. That's the power of human being, is that in language you are creating, Martin, that you are connected, and that gives you the power. And I think for all human beings, we have that access to creating who we are in language. And sometimes we forget for one reason or the other, because who we are in language is given by our past experience, and we label ourselves and others through language. And once you identify that and get present to the power of who you are, again, you can create yourself anytime, anywhere, at any moment. And that's power. So identity is given in language, and if you can identify that, discover that, you can create anything, and anything becomes possible. But again, language for human beings is a medium in which we paint our life, just like a painter uses oil paintings or color. So language is important for us as human beings, and that's the beauty of being human.
Yeah. Yeah, language is an interesting thing. It's not something that I give a lot of credence to, but I understand what you're saying. And I think language often creates more separateness, and creates like different understandings. But I appreciate
Yeah.
that. And like
Well,
there's
yeah.
and that's go on.
The last thing is that before time goes up, language and being are the front and the back of the same thing. So
Mm,
language is important.
absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming up. Yeah, language and being, depending on how we are looking at that being, they're very connected. Again, we can't talk about being without language. And so we get caught in the cycle, and then and I know you're not familiar with the Tao, but I'm going to read number one of Tao really quick, just because we were talking about language and the first space that Tao kind of embraces. And I would encourage you to check out the Tao Te Ching. Um, Faraz, is that words are particular and cannot express Tao. And so the first place in the Tao, and this is something that I, obviously kind of say, well, what are you going to do? We talk, right? Just like you're saying, oh, we speak. So how can we fight that? Words are particular, so they cannot express Tao. To have a name is to be limited to manifestation, and that's one of the cruxes we have when we speak about Tao. And I do this every day, and so like it is a crux, and it's difficult to get beyond, because to have a name is to be limited to the manifestation. That which is nameless is the source of manifestation. If we were able to sit here and just be present, we'd be able, like with that understanding that we spoke about, um, there is only one. We'd be able to be in touch with each other, right? Without words. We'd be able to sit still. Um, and so I just wanted to kind of like, again, like only because you didn't have knowledge of the Tao Te Ching, I wanted to kind of address that the place that the Tao starts is to say, hey, words can't do this justice, and words can't do you justice by continuing to express self-referential. Those who name themselves, limiting ourselves. Do you want to experience the depth of the mystery? Then we stop identifying. Do you want to experience the shallowness of manifestation? Differentiate. Either way, no one can tell, and the difference is in your experience. So that's what the first verse of Tao says. And I really wanted to address that because you're talking about language, and language is really a particular thing for every individual. We often think that, like, what you say, I understand. But really, it's what I hear that I understand. And what I hear has very little to do with what you say. And that's an important understanding, and differentiate how we differentiate between, what you're saying and what I'm hearing. We're not having an experience. I'm having an experience that's contributing to the, cosmos. You're having an experience that's contributing to that as well. And that is what we do. And it's so beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to go back to 49, for Oz. I'm going to read that one more time. Illusion of separateness, especially after having read the first Tao that says, hey, language is a stickler. The master has freed herself from separateness, right? So no longer embracing identity. She opens herself to receive from all beings. She isn't separate. She receives from all beings. People at work, people in my neighborhood, people in my family, all of that. I receive that. And receivership is what we were talking about earlier in terms of the masculine and the feminine, the yin and the yang, right? The yin receives. When she encounters sincerity, she responds in kind. In the face of duplicity, her sincerity remains. Why should it change? When she encounters goodness, she responds in kind. In the face of evil, her goodness remains. Why should it change? Why should her goodness change because of somebody else? Why should she change for the manifestation? The manifestation is just an illusion. She is real. Her identity, this body, all of that, that's just stuff. How she explains things, how she talks about things, the language she uses, all that's just stuff. She, without language, is her. She knows the manifestation is just an illusion of separateness. Beyond that, there is only one, and that one is her, right? She, just like she is all things. It's not like her as an identity. It's her, as I, as the I am, the great I am. I'm going to let 62 slide. We'll definitely address 62 at another point. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Samantha, Lois, Faraz, I really appreciate you guys coming on and exploring Tao with me. This is Martin John. If you benefit from the work I do, definitely consider tipping me through Venmo at martinjohn_Garcia. I am always open to receiving a little help to keep the lights on. Thank you so much. I am making a Tao of the Day app, so eventually we will launch that with a Day of the Tao, and I'll go through every 81 verses of my translation of the Tao Te Ching. Recently, we have been only reading my translation of the Tao Te Ching, but if you come up and would like a specific translation, I'd be glad to utilize that. Once again, this is Tao of the Day, where you come up and pick a number between 1 and 81, and we explore how that relates to your life in this moment. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.